Welcome back to Fast Money. Bitcoin plunging nearly 14% in today's session, dropping below the 50,000 mark. And Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell waded into the crypto discussion during his testimony on Capitol Hill today. Take a listen.
We are the world's reserve currency, and we have a responsibility to get this right. We don't need to be the first. We need to get it right. And it does hold out the prospect of the things that you mentioned, very positive. It could help with financial inclusion as well. At the same time, you want to avoid creating things that might be destabilizing or that might draw funds away from the banking system. We have a banking system.
So what would a digital dollar mean for Bitcoin and the broader crypto space? Let's bring in our very own Bitcoin baller, Brian Kelly. Brian, good to hear from you. I kind of thought that dollars were already sort of digital. I mean, I can send you money via Venmo or PayPal or Zelle or whatever. I mean, isn't that the case right now?
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much already have a digital dollar already. I mean, how many people, if you have kids, that they never, ever use cash. Everything is going to electronic payments. So, I don't think there's really that big of a deal about a digital dollar. On the other hand, I think it would be just fantastic for Bitcoin, because what you do know is that once the Fed has a digital wallet and they can put more money in there, they will continue to print that money. And that is just the exact opposite value proposition from Bitcoin.
Oh, so you think that if the Fed actually goes ahead with the digital dollar, that would mean that they would print more money because it's just that much easier?
Yeah, I think exactly. There's two things. I mean, instead of mailing out stimulus checks, they just simply credit your wallet with more money. Alternatively, if they wanted to get you to spend that money, they put $1,400 in there, and if you don't spend it within a week, they take $100 out. And that gets you to create, that gets inflation creating, velocity, all of those type of things. Again, I think it would be really good for Bitcoin.
BK, it's Tim, first-time caller, long-time fan. And my question to you is the volatility around Bitcoin over the last few days, but maybe even the last 6 weeks, but really the moves down. Within the community of Bitcoin traders, isn't this type of a move almost perversely seen as positive? And doesn't it almost embolden, again, the core here? Because there's been so many of these runs where people have said the sky is falling and they've been followed ultimately by higher highs. Talk about that dynamic emotionally in the sector.
Yeah, so that's really a great point, Tim, and love your work on the show here. I'll tell you what, if you look back at the 2017 bull market, you had multiple pullbacks of 30%. So this is not unusual for Bitcoin. It sounds unusual, when in the context of stocks. But for Bitcoin, this is a very natural part of what the bull market is like. And people who have held or hodled, as they call it in the Bitcoin world, through multiple cycles, understand that ultimately here you want to buy the dip. I think we're just getting started with Square buying and MicroStrategy and other S&P 500, and then as well as the institutionalization is just getting started. So I think we're in the first couple innings of this bull market cycle.
All right. BK, thanks for phoning in.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Brian Kelly. It is only Tuesday, though, and we're down, so far this week? Guy Dami, I thought it was an interesting notion that the Fed, if it had a wallet, if you had a wallet that the Fed somehow created, that it can wire you money and take away that money if you don't spend it. Used to be the opposite when I was growing up.
It's a brilliant idea from Bitcoin. Listen, I mean, if they go down that road, which who knows at this point what they're willing to do to get the desired result, but you might as well, instead of the flamethrower they're putting to the U.S. dollar now, I mean, they might as well just nuke the entire thing, because the dollar is going to get crushed on the back of that. It's just, I'm no fan of the Federal Reserve, central banks, Jerome Powell, the whole gang. But if they go down that road, I think the Bitcoin crew, and BK just spoke to it, I think they're licking their collective chops, because that would be proof positive that Bitcoin's got it right and all these central banks have it wrong. So good for BK for pointing that out, by the way.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.